Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a story that, well, it really hits home. It's about sacrifice, a pretty shocking betrayal, and this incredible journey of someone taking back their life, their dreams.
That's right. We're talking about Ellie Taylor. She's a 30-year-old real estate agent up in Seattle, and she had this lifelong dream, really, of becoming a nurse.
Yeah, deeply inspired by her dad, who sadly passed away when she was young. But that dream got put on hold, didn't it, about 5 years back?
It did. Her mother, Diane, got diagnosed with lupus. And Ellie, well, she didn't really hesitate. She dropped her nursing studies and jumped into real estate.
Right, because it offered more flexible hours, specifically so she could drive her mom to doctor's appointments, manage everything, and crucially, cover these huge medical bills.
And that's really where the core of this story kicks in. What happens when you give years of your life, I mean, literally over $120,000, supporting someone.
And they turn around and publicly ridicule you, belittle everything you've done.
Exactly. So this deep dive, we're going to unpack Ellie's journey from this moment of just shattering public truth, streamed live online.
Unbelievable.
To her deciding, okay, enough.
Yeah.
And strategically, powerfully reclaiming her own path and, her own sense of worth.
Okay, so let's break down that foundation first. This nursing dream for Ellie, it wasn't just a passing fancy.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It came straight from her father. He died in a construction accident when Ellie was only 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But his whole approach to life, working hard, being selfless for his family, that really stuck with her. It shaped her desire to care for others.
So when her mom got sick 5 years ago, that lupus diagnosis, putting her nursing studies on hold felt like the only option.
For Ellie, absolutely. It seemed like an immediate, almost unquestioning act of love, of duty. But it wasn't just, pressing pause for a semester.
No, it became her whole life.
Completely. She dove into real estate, which wasn't her passion, but it gave her that flexibility she needed for her mom's care. Driving to appointments, dealing with everything.
And the money. Let's talk about the money again.
Yeah, the financial toll was, well, it's staggering. Over $120,000 across 5 years.
$120,000.
It completely drained her savings, paying for meds, specialists, insurance premiums. She was even fighting insurance companies, when they denied a crucial infusion.
Oh, while working, 60-hour weeks in real estate?
Yeah, just to keep everything afloat, her business, her mom's care. And what's really key here is how Ellie saw her mom's attitude back then.
Right. She kind of explained away the occasional jabs, the criticisms.
Exactly. She thought, oh, that's just her pain talking, or, it's her old school way of pushing me. She genuinely believed that they were this team, united by loss and love.
Which just makes the betrayal cut so much deeper.
Absolutely. And that betrayal, it wasn't private. It happened very, very publicly.
Okay, set the scene for us. This is where it really turns.
So Ellie's in Portland. She's just finished a real estate conference. She's back in her hotel room, and her phone buzzes. It's a text from her younger cousin, Sophie, who's 18 and apparently trying to become TikTok famous.
Oh, boy. Okay.
The text just says, "You need to see this. I'm so sorry." And there's a link to Sophie's latest live stream.
Oh, no. What was on it?
Ellie clicks the link, and there's her mom, Diane, sitting at the family dining table back in Seattle, glass of Pinot Grigio and hand wine Ellie had bought, by the way.
Oof.
And Diane has no idea Sophie is live, streaming to like 2,000 followers.
And then she starts talking about Ellie.
She does. She's talking to Ellie's Aunt Maggie and Uncle Tom, and she just scoffs. "Oh, please," she says. Ellie thinks selling houses makes her somebody.
Wow.
She couldn't cut it in nursing school, and now she's just drifting, a hopeless failure. Then she adds, "Pathetic. Now she acts like flipping condos makes her successful."
And the aunt and uncle.
You can hear them laughing in the background, like it's some kind of running joke.
That is just brutal. How did Ellie react seeing that?
Utter devastation. Ellie described her chest tightening, the room spinning, tears just stinging her eyes. It was, as she put it, her truth laid bare for the internet to see.
I can't even imagine.
Sophie, horrified, immediately texted again, offered to delete the video. But Ellie, even shaking, texted back instantly.
What did she say?
"No, leave it up."
Wow. Even then.
Yeah. Her words were, "I wasn't just hurt, I was done."
Yeah.
That moment, that public humiliation from someone she was sacrificing everything for, it was the breaking point.
That clarity right in the middle of the pain. That's
Right.
something else.
It really is. And you see this sometimes, right? This kind of dynamic where the caregiver is resented almost for the very support they provide. It's
Yeah.
complex.
So Ellie gets back to Seattle. What's the first move?
Well, she confronts the physical evidence of her sacrifice. She has this folder labeled Mom's Medical sitting on her kitchen table.
Filled with everything.
5 years of receipts, bank statements, insurance forms.
Yeah.
Proof of every single dollar. She'd kept it, mainly for taxes.
Right, practical reasons.
Yeah. But looking at it now, she saw it differently. It was evidence of my betrayal.
Mm.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why we keep track sometimes, even when we think it's unconditional.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Is it just practical, or is there something else going on?
Could be a bit of both.
Yeah.
Maybe an unconscious accounting. Anyway, she meets up with Sophie at a coffee shop.
And shows her the folder.
Shows her the documents. And Sophie's just floored. $120,000. This is insane, she says.
Yeah.
And Ellie explains, quietly, how she felt it was her duty, her turn to step up, even though real estate wasn't her dream.
Okay. So sharing the burden, or at least the knowledge of it.
Exactly. And then she does something incredibly decisive. Right there in the coffee shop.
What's that?
She pulls out her phone, opens her banking app, and transfers the money she'd set aside for her mom's next treatment directly into her own school fund.
Whoa. That's a statement?
A huge one. She literally says, I'm done being her safety net. It's this powerful moment of reclaiming her financial autonomy, reinvesting in herself.
And did she mention nursing school then?
She did. She revealed she actually had an acceptance letter to Seattle University's nursing program. Dated months ago.
No way. She'd already gotten in.
Yeah, she just hadn't acted on it yet. But now, she says she's starting in the fall. No more delays.
Wow. So the betrayal actually unlocked the door she'd closed herself.
In a way, yes. It forced the decision. And then she started the practical steps. Calling insurance companies.
Right. Untangling the finances.
Methodically. Updating payment details, taking your name off as guarantor. She said each call felt like cutting a thread.
That's a powerful image.
Then, by Sunday, she drafted this email, very carefully worded, to the whole extended family.
What did it say? Broad strokes.
Basically, I've covered mom's medical expenses for 5 years, totaling over $120,000. For personal reasons, I'm now stepping back.
Did she include the proof?
Oh, yeah. Attached a detailed spreadsheet. Every payment, appointment, prescription, everything.
No room for doubt.
None. She described hitting send, heart pounding, but feeling absolutely sure. Such a lesson in setting boundaries, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to be clear, provide the facts, and then disengage.
Systematically, not just emotionally saying, I'm done.
Precisely. Because the emotional fallout is almost guaranteed. And it came quickly.
Mom showed up.
Furious.
Yeah.
Banging on Ellie's door, shouting about selfishness, betrayal, blaming Ellie because some medication was denied.
And Ellie?
Calm, firm, didn't open the door, just spoke through it. I'm done, Mom. You'll get a letter from the insurance company. Read it.
That detachment, keeping the door closed, literally and figuratively.
It's key. It shows the manipulation isn't working anymore. Their anger kind of bounces off.
How did the rest of the family react to the email and the spreadsheet?
It was mixed, as you might expect, and Maggie was apparently shocked. Uncle Tom called Ellie petty.
Ouch.
But Sophie, her cousin, and her great Aunt Clara, who's 80 and sounds amazing, sharp as ever, they got it. They texted support. Great Aunt Clara said, "You've carried too much, dear."
It's good she had some allies.
Definitely. And Ellie took steps to protect her peace. Blocked her mom's number, muted relatives who didn't even bother asking for her side.
Smart. Creating that space.
She described the feeling as relief, like the quiet after a Seattle storm. Just necessary for her to focus on what was next.
But that peace wasn't permanent, right? There was a confrontation.
Yeah, an ambush, really.
Yeah.
After a house showing, in the parking lot of this Queen Anne bungalow,
Who was there?
Mom Diane, leaning heavily on her cane, playing up the lupus symptoms, face all tight. And Aunt Maggie was there too, kind of running interference.
What was Maggie saying?
Going on about new medications that cost triple, specialists who'd supposedly dropped Diane as a patient. Classic guilt trip tactics.
Leaning into the victim role when challenged.
Textbook. But Ellie didn't back down this time.
What did she say?
She went right at it. "I heard what you said, Mom, on Sophie's live stream. Calling me a hopeless failure."
Straight up, no mincing words.
Nope. Recounted the $120,000 again, the dream she paused, just laid it out.
How did Diane react to being called out on the live stream?
Predictably, tried to deny it, twisted her words, claimed it wasn't like that. But you could see doubt starting to creep into Aunt Maggie's face. She asked Diane, what you talking about?
So the denial wasn't quite landing, maybe.
Seemed like it.
Right.
It's easy to paint Diane as just awful. But psychologically, this kind of lashing out when support is withdrawn, It often stems from fear, right? Fear of losing control, facing reality.
That makes sense. A defense mechanism, however hurtful.
Exactly. It's rarely simple malice. But Ellie wasn't having it anymore. Her final words in that parking lot were clear.
Yeah.
I'm done being manipulated. And then, as she got in her car, she delivered the parting shot. Family doesn't tear each other down, Mom. Ask yourself who walked away first.
Wow, powerful. Turning the accusation back around.
Very. And then life starts shifting for Ellie in other ways, too. Professionally.
Right, the real estate award.
Exactly. She gets nominated for this Resilience in Real Estate Award. Attends the big annual gala.
A moment of recognition for her, finally.
Huge. And while she's at the gala, she starts getting texts. Her mom's in the hospital, had a fall.
Oh, typical timing. Uncle Tom demanding she leave immediately.
You guessed it. Insistent calls.
Yeah.
But Ellie, she stays calm. Tells him she'll be there in 2 hours after her event.
That's a massive boundary right there. Choosing her moment over the immediate crisis call.
It shows how much she'd changed, how she was prioritizing her own well-being and, frankly, her own achievements. It's about self-worth.
And did she win?
She did. She won the Resilience Award. Her acceptance speech was short but potent. Resilience isn't just closing deals, it's rebuilding your life. She said she felt truly seen for the first time.
That must have felt incredible. So she goes to the hospital after the gala, award in hand.
Pretty much. And of course, Mom starts in again with the blame, the accusations.
But Ellie's different now.
Totally composed. Calmly recounts, again, the years of sacrifice, the money, the public mockery on the live stream.
Did Uncle Tom hear this?
He did. And this time, Sophie was there too. And Sophie, seeing her mom still trying to manipulate things, bravely tells Uncle Tom about the live stream, shows him.
Oh, wow. Sophie stepped up. How did Tom react?
His expression just changed. You could see him connecting the dots. Then Ellie does something symbolic.
What's that?
She places her Resilience Award right there on the hospital table and says, basically, this is for succeeding despite challenges, like supporting you while you belittled me.
Defining her success partly by overcoming that dynamic.
Exactly. She told her mom she'd still help with practical medical questions, share information, but the sacrifice, that was over. She couldn't pour herself out for someone who didn't value it.
A clear boundary, but not complete abandonment. Offering practical help, but on her terms.
Precisely. And the changes kept coming. Fast forward 3 months.
Ellie's in nursing school.
Yep. In her uniform, confidently starting an IV and skills lab. She described it as nursing school finally clicking, like coming home.
That's wonderful. And her real estate business.
Humming along. She had help. Kylie was managing things, so Ellie could really focus on her studies.
And then came the article.
Yeah, this is big. Interviewed by the Seattle Health Journal about people changing careers to go into nursing.
Did she share her story?
She did. He talked about how real estate unexpectedly taught her resilience and, importantly, how to set boundaries.
And it went viral.
Hit like 20,000 views, comments pouring in, people calling her inspiring, a badass, real public validation.
That must have felt good, but also maybe brought more family reactions.
It did, but this time, mostly positive. Uncle Tom called her.
Really? What did he say?
Said how proud he was. Seeing her in the uniform in the article photo, he said, it hit her you're really doing it nursing. And he apologized.
Apologize, yeah.
For not seeing the weight she'd been carrying all those years.
Wow. That's significant.
Huge. And Aunt Maggie apologized too. And get this, Maggie started helping cover some of Diane's expenses, finally understanding the burden.
So seeing it laid out, the article, the success, it finally registered.
It seems so. Even Sophie, whose TikTok fame was growing, started posting clips about Ellie, calling her cousin goals.
That's great. And Ellie herself. How did she feel about, say, her mom's lack of acknowledgement?
That's the incredible part. She realized she didn't need it anymore. Her validation came from her patients, her instructors, the life she was building. Her trophy was on the mantle next to her dad's photo, a reminder of her real path.
She found her own validation.
Completely. And maybe the most touching validation, a text from Uncle Tom. Simple. Your dad would be proud, Ellie, so am I.
Oh, that must have meant the world.
Ellie said it was the moment she realized she was truly free. Not just from her mom's shadow, but free to be the person her dad always believed she could be.
What an incredible arc. From that deep sacrifice, through the gut punch of betrayal, to finding her own strength and reclaiming her dream.
It really is a powerful story about self-worth, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the absolute necessity of boundaries, even when it's incredibly difficult, especially with family.
And the courage to define yourself on your own terms?
It's exactly. Independent of what anyone else thinks or says, even the people closest to you. It leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what happens when the story someone else has written for you just completely clashes with the reality of your own life, your own sacrifices? And maybe more importantly, how do you find the courage to pick up the pen and rewrite that story? Not for them, but for yourself.